Jai Hind. So, this is the continuation of the first unit, lecture 3. So, in third lecture, I will cover basically about the distributed computing and the parallel computing. Okay? Distributed computing and parallel computing. Let us see distributed computing first. So, what is the distributed computing or distributed system? Actually, distributed computing, when a particular system perform distributed computing, so that system is known as the distributed system. So, distributed system actually is a collection of independent computers that is interconnected via a network capable of collaborating on a task. Okay? That means, when a number of independent systems connected through the network to perform a single task, they all that work in collaboration of and to perform a single task. So, in distributed computing, actually the problem is divided into number of parts, and that parts are divided, are given, are assigned to individual systems that are connected through the network to form a distributed system. So, a distributed system can be characterized as a collection of multiple autonomous computers that communicate over a communication link, communication network, and having the following features. So, what are the features of the cloud distributed computing? No common physical clock. That is the that is the very important feature of that particular distributed system. There is absence of physical clock. Logical, the concept of logical clock is used for the synchronization purpose, to giving the sequence, to giving the order of the events. Other is the enhanced reliability. As you know that in the opposite of distributed system, when you use the centralized system, that means overall performance and the success of that system depend on a central processor, a central server. If that server somehow fail or crash, the entire system collapse, entire system fails. Okay? But here in distributed system, that scenario does not occur. That means that provide enhanced reliability. Okay? Reliability means this is if there is some fault, so that is the degree of overcome from the fault. Okay? So, reliability, that is reliable. Increased performance and cost ratio. Okay? Access to geographically remote data and resources. Scalability. Scalability means you can add number of systems. Okay? You can add more number of systems in the system. So, what are the motivations for the distributed system? So, these are the some terms that motivated the distributed computation. First one is the inherently distributed computation. What does it mean? That is, many applications such as money transfer in the banking or reaching a consensus among the parties that are geographically distant, the computation is inherently distributed. Okay? So, inherently distributed, some some task, some problem is the nature of some problem or task are the distributed nature. Okay. So, that distributed nature work can easily perform, can easily solve by using the concept of the distributed computation. The example of inherently distributed computation like consciousness among the different parties, money transfer in the banking, money transfer from one bank to other bank that may be located some other geographical areas. So, all these are the computation that nature is inherently distributed. Other is the resource sharing, because resource sharing is the fundamental or the main basic characteristics of cloud computing. So, resource sharing is the sharing of the resource such as peripherals, means hardwares, and a complete data set, and so on and so forth. That means resource sharing means you can share resources like hardware, storage, applications, data, files. That is the resource sharing. So, the resource sharing also play important role to encourage the distributed computation. Third one is the access the geographically remote data and resources, okay, such as bank database, supercomputer, and so on. So, that is also a very basic motivation for the distributed computation. What is that? Access the geographically remote data and resources. Okay. Fourth one is the reliability. So, reliability possibility of replicating the resources and execution to enhance the reliability, because in the distributed system same copies or same replica is distributed among number of systems. That means, if any system fail by some reason, the reason may be some natural disaster or some planned some human mistake, some human error, any reason may be. If any system fail to compute, then due to the replication no loss of data is there. That means, that data can be easily recovered from some other servers, from some other systems easily. That is the reason why this is the reliable system that promote the reliability. Loosely coupled system. Actually, loosely coupled system is known as distributed system. What is the concept of loosely coupled system? So, in this system actually the processor do not share any memory. Okay. So, this is why it is known as loosely coupled system, because it does not share any memory. Okay. And each processor has its own memory, its own local cache memory, its own primary memory. So, loosely coupled system are referred to as distributed computing system or simply distributed system. This is the diagram that is given to describe the loosely coupled system. Loosely coupled system. So, you can see here from this diagram, distributed memory system DMS, communication via message passing. Okay, these two things are done here. Here this is the communication network, okay, that may be LAN, that may be established by Wi-Fi or some wired network, some satellite communication type of network may be used. There are the number of systems attached through this network like this one. Okay. So, actually this combination, entire combination form distributed computing. Okay. Why distributed? Because all the system are connected through a common network and all the system are at the geographically distant areas. Okay. And each and every have its own memory. Okay. That means, if some problem is coming for the solution, then that problem is divided, entire database may be divided into number of parts and that are assigned to number of different systems. Okay. So, this is why this is known as the loosely coupled. Loosely coupled because does not share any memory, because you know that when number of systems are working together for a single purpose, then basic need is that they must have to communicate to each other, they have to interact to each other, and in order to make the interaction there is two possible method. What are that? First one is the data sharing, parameter sharing, is the one method to interact to each other, other one is message passing. So, in centralized system type of thing, or sometimes in parallel systems, because number of systems are using the same common memory, okay, they share same memory. So, each different system communicate to each other by using the same shared memory, by using the shared parameter. Okay, like one system make a plus b, want to make a plus b, so suppose one system read a and b in that common memory, and second system take the a and b from that common memory and perform the a plus b. So, by this way they interact to each other, because the memory is common, so they can share. One read the data, other may compute the data, third one may use the result of that computation to perform some other computation, like a plus b plus c. If you want to perform a plus b plus c, so it may be chance that first system read a and b, okay, other system read same a and b from the memory now, okay, and perform a plus b. Okay. Now, third system take the result of a plus b from the memory, common memory, and take the c as well, perform the a plus b plus c. So, this is known as the central computing processing, or that is not loosely coupled system, because all are communicate by using the same physical memory, shared physical memory. So, other method of communication is message passing. So, in this loosely coupled system or distributed system, they use message passing to make the interaction between different system in the distributed system. So, distributed system can be visualized like this one. This is the this is the graph, and this node represent system. Okay, this represents systems, system 1, 2, system 3, system 4, and so on. It may be other system also. Okay, each and every have its own memory, and each and every system have the same capacity and capability. B, the same thing is represented like this one. Each and every system have processor and its own memory, processor and its own memory. Simply other other system have the processor and its own memory, and this one. And this link, this link arrow, bidirectional arrow represent message passing. Okay, message passing. That means by using the message passing, this processor and this processor communicate to each other. Okay. So, distributed system can be visualized like this one: telephone services. Okay, this is the cell phones, telephone systems, and this is the telephone service provider. Okay. So, this network, overall network, can be visualized as a distributed system. That is also a distributed system. Okay. Now, this one you can see this other example. This is a very good example of the distributed system, a distributed computing model. Here, this is the internet service provider, ISP. This is the web, internet. Okay, and these are the servers. That means, as a client, you want to take the services of these servers. These are the corporate website, intranet and extranet. Okay, and this service, internet service provider, also provides the service to some corporate network. This is the corporate network. These systems are connected, and the laptop are connected, and corporate wired LAN are connected. Okay. Then here on the other side, this is the wireless Wi-Fi type of connections are there, this one. So, this entire look give the distributed system, distributed computation. So, example of the distributed system like telephone network and cellular network, computer networks such as internet or intranet, Okay. ATM machine, automatic teller machine from which we take the money, okay, by using the ATM card or debit card. That ATM machines also make a distributed system, because you can get the money, okay, from some other ATM machines. That means if you are the user or you are the client of the SBI bank, but you can take the money from the HDFC bank ATM. How this is possible? This is possible due to the distributed computation model. That means different number of system, different number of banks are interconnected, okay, through each other by using the concept of distributed system. Other is a distributed database and distributed database management system. Distributed database management system is also a good example of distributed system. Network of workstation and mobile computing. So, all these are the example of distributed systems. Now, let us take the distributed database management system, how this work. So, here we can see that this is the one system, this is the other system. It may be possible there is also some other system also similar connected by this way, same. Similarly, like this one, it may be some other also. So, what is this? In this module, you can see that in this system, this entire system form the distributed system, and that form a distributed database management system, DBMS. So, here we can say that this is the display 1, the display 2, this is the application 1, application 2 is running on this system. This is the database engine installed on this particular system 1, database monitor is there, okay, that monitor the activities of this database. There are the two database connected through this system, DB1 and DB2, okay, and as you know that this the content of DB1, DB2, DB3 can be interchanged to each other by using the distributed database monitor, okay. This database monitor can take the data from DB1 or DB2. Similarly, database monitor of the first system can take the data from the DB3, okay, and that can provide the data to its application in order to process, to give the result display. So, this entire system form a distributed database, where this dot dot means machines. All these are the machine, machine 1 in system 1, this is the first machine, second machine. Similarly, in system 2, this is the first machine, this is the second machine. This rectangle show the process, like this one, this is the process. Application 3 is running, okay, that take the data with the help of database engine, okay, and database engine if required the data from DB1. So, with the help of database monitor, DB1 data can be taken and given to the application 3. Similarly, this dotted both arrow represent network inter-process communication. Similarly, this dense dotted lines represent the OS communication to external devices, okay. Other example of the distributed system is ATM machine. So, here you can visualize this ATM, this is the teller machine, ATM machines are there, number of ATM machines are there. This is the computers controlling teller machines, computers controlling the teller machines. Then this is the computer holding bank account data, okay. This is the main computer or server that hold the bank account detail of the customer. Similarly, this is the two other controllers. Similarly, there may be some other controllers, okay. Similarly, this controller can be assigned to some other bank's account holding computer that cannot be visualized here. So, here may be some other computer are holding bank account data, like there suppose if we take the scenario of two banks, HDFC and SBI, that means this system, one system will be for SBI, other system will be for HDFC, that contain the detail of its customer, Okay. And this is the hot standby holding the secondary copy of the bank account data. That means this is the backup. Okay, backup of the detail of the clients. So, this entire system form the distributed system. That means, if there is a ATM machine of HDFC, so that ATM machine can be utilized to take the money of a customer, that is the customer of SBI. Okay. So, that is only possible due to the distributed computing model. So, what are the advantages of distributed system? There are the number of advantages are there, like resource sharing. Okay. That means, now you can share the resource, that means you can share the network, you can share the CPU cycles, you can share the file, okay, among the number of systems. Information sharing among the distributed users. So, now information can also be shared. Better flexibility in meeting users need. Okay. So, that perform better in better way the requirement of the user clients, better price performance ratio, extensibility and incremental growth. Okay. That means, that can be evolve very easily. Shorter response time and higher output, that means response come in very short time, means response time is very less in comparison of other techniques. Higher reliability. Okay, higher reliability because same replica is replicated into number of systems. Okay, and if one system fail, so it does not matter, that can be taken from the other system and the workload can be assigned to some other system. So, no problem. Scalability. Okay, more number of system or user can be connected to the network. Transparency. Okay, distributed system is open, that is very transparent. Now, let us see the disadvantage of the distributed system. So, what are the disadvantages? Difficulties of developing distributed software. Actually, the development and design of distributed system is very difficult, that is not easy. Networking problem, because entire thing is depend on the network. So, if there is some problem in network, okay, if some switches, router, some interconnecting devices not work properly, or it may be some internet is not working, then you cannot take the advantage of distributed system. Security problems. Here also security problems are there. Okay, security problem means authentication, privacy, availabilities, performance. Okay, because distributed system, the nature of distributed system is very complex. Okay. So, sometimes that not perform very well, that means that not perform as well as centralized system, because in message passing, in synchronization, that takes time. Okay, because there is a delay for the message passing from one system to other system. Openness. Okay, that is very open, that is very transparent, that is disadvantage also of the distributed system. Reliability and fault tolerance. Okay, fault tolerance is not so good. So, this is the disadvantage of the distributed computing or distributed system. Now, let us see the parallel computation, a parallel system. So, a system is said to be parallel system in which multiple processors have direct access to shared memory, which form a common address space. Okay. As you see in the, as you have seen in the distributed system, okay, that all the system does not share some shared memory, but in the parallel system different number of system can share the same physical memory. That is usually tightly coupled. This is why this is known as the tightly coupled, but distributed known as loosely coupled system. Okay, but this is tightly coupled system are referred to as parallel system. In these system, there are a single system wide primary memory, address space, that is shared by all the processor. On the other hand, distributed are the loosely coupled system. Parallel computing is the use of two or more processors, okay, in combination to solve a single problem. So, let us see the example. Number of processors are there, that means this is also a collection of the processor, collection of number of computers, just like distributed system, but the basic difference is that all the processors share the same memory, okay, but in the case of distributed, all the processor have its own memory, okay, and that are connected through the network. Here you can see CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3, CPU 4 that share the same memory, okay. So, application of parallel system. An example of parallel computing would be two servers that share the workload of routing mail, okay. That may be example of the parallel system. There are the two servers, okay, and both are dealing the workload of routing mail. That means mail at which route that have to forward, that is managed by these two servers. So, that two servers work in parallel. Managing connections to an accounting system or database, solving a mathematical problem, etc. Supercomputers are usually placed in parallel system architecture, okay. That means supercomputer is made by using the concept of parallel system architecture. Terminals connected to a single server, that means either a single server are there, and means it is talking about the centralized system. Different number of terminals are connected through the single server that provide the concurrency. That means multiple things can be done at the same time, taking advantage of non-local resources, cost saving, okay, overcoming memory constraints, save time and money. Global address space provide a user friendly programming perspective to memory, because there is the global memory, means a common very large memory is connected through the all system. So, that also avoid the problem of memory constraints, because each and every you can assume that each and every user have the same capacity of the storage, and that is very big, that is very large. Now, let us take the disadvantages of the parallel system. So, primary disadvantage is that lack of scalability between memory and CPUs, okay, lack of scalability between memory and CPUs, because if you increase the number of CPU, let us see the previous example, means this diagram here, you can add more CPU here, you can add more CPU. One CPU is added here, one more CPU can be added here. That means that is scalable when you take the example of the CPU, but actually it is scalable or not? Perfectly not. Why? Because if you increase the CPU, this memory storage will be small in comparison of all systems, because you increase the CPU, but you have not increased the memory, okay. That means if you want that your system is scalable, that means you need to increase both at the same time. If you want to more number of user support, then you have to increase CPU as well as in the same ratio the memory also. So, that is not so flexible actually, scalability, okay. So, other is the programmer responsibility for synchronization constructs that ensure correct access of the global memory, and the third one is it become increasingly difficult and expensive to design and produce shared memory machine with ever increasing number of processors. Same thing, it is very hard to maintain or to design shared memory machine, a shared memory system with increasing number of processors. These are the basic disadvantages between parallel and distributed system. We can see here in the context of the memory. First, this is tightly coupled system, because that use the shared memory concept, and this is loosely coupled, weakly coupled system. That means that use the distributed memory, means each and every system has its own memory. In respect of control, this is controlled by the global clock control. Global clock control, that means physical clock, global clock can be used in the case of parallel system, but in distributed system no global clock, that means that is controlled by the logical clock systems. Other is the processor interconnections. So, in order to connect the processor, order of TBPS is used here, and here order of GBPS, gigahertz per second, and this is the terabit per second. Main focus. So, main focus of the parallel system is on performance scientific computing, and the main focus of distributed system is performance, that means cost and scalability, and reliability and availability also. So, all these are the discussion about the distributed system and the parallel system. So, thank you.